Swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Alright, good morning YouTube. What's up people? Alright, this is basically just going to be a video vlog of my experiences with Twitter in regards to basically just my treatment. So, this is a situation. On 3/26 March, towards the end, see a little date there, I logged in, ran into this little message here telling me that the account had been locked. No reason, no nothing was given to me on why the account was locked. So I had to submit an appeal, asking them, hey, I'm locked, why am I locked? I didn't actually find out why I was locked until after they sent me, which I'm assuming was an automated message telling me that my appeal was refused. And the only reason I even found out what it was about was the next time I pulled it up, I had this message. So this is a tweet that I wrote, and I'll go a little bit into it. Now to keep in mind, I don't really follow politics too heavy, but somebody, I want to say Charlie Kirk, I think the guy's name is, he basically had tweeted regarding Rachel Levine, had spent 54 years as a man, whatever. And at the time, I'm like, okay, whatever, no big deal. Next thing I know, I'm reading, that dude gets banned for saying that. Now, I gotta be honest, I don't really get what the rub was about that or why people would get their feathers ruffled over that. So my tweet basically was, it's a damn shame this dude gets banned for misgendering, but if I or someone else shares an opinion, it's perfectly acceptable to accuse us of being transphobic and to be verbally ganged up on. Rachel Levine was a dude for 54 years, people. Get over it. It's not that serious. Well, it's not. I mean, the tweet's pretty self-explanatory. The whole point behind this was, so what? Rachel Levine was a guy for 54 years. Big deal. In other words, who cares? Honestly, the only thing that I could probably think about that would have irked people, and I can kind of understand this, is when she was named Secretary of Health as the first woman, officially announced as the quote-unquote first woman that was Secretary of Health. I can see how that would rub a lot of biological women wrong. I think it would have been more appropriate to have labeled her, as the first transgender woman to have been the Secretary of Health. I think that would have been a little more accurate. It wouldn't have quite rubbed, people in such a wrong way. And to be honest, I mean, there are obvious distinct differences, between a biological man and a transgender man, and a biological woman and a transgender woman, for obvious health reasons. So, I mean, there's also that to take into consideration. So, but you also have to keep in mind that, I'm one of those people, I don't really follow into the whole gender ideology of gender being a social construct or any of that other critical race theory nonsense that people follow or get suckered into. Not really my thing. So I think that if they had labeled her as the first transgender woman to have held that office, it probably would not have ruffled as many feathers over it as it did. It's nice, it's neat. Wrap it in a little box, set it on the shelf, moving on. Um, the things people are arguing about, the way people are being disrespectful to each other, it's to a point where our society is basically digressing. There is literally no respect. There is certainly no respect for your elders, in this country. Excuse me, it's early. Getting some water. So, anyway, that was the thing. And so, what I did is I had contacted Twitter, and of course, they didn't respond to any of my inquiries. I was trying to find out exactly what rule was broken. So, this is pretty much what I've been running into since then. Now, to be entirely honest, I kind of don't understand why. I'm pretty sure they've already deleted this tweet, so why they would force me to go through this little process of manually deleting it, I don't know. And the only reason I say that is I made another account to attempt to contact Twitter, thinking maybe, I'd get a response. I didn't. It was a complete and utter total waste of time, but there's an issue with that account I'll go into. But when I looked to see if I could see if that tweet was still visible, it was not. So that leads me to believe that they turned around and deleted said tweet. So why would you force me to personally hit your delete button? You know, that didn't make sense to me. So based on principle of since they could not give me the dignity of an answer on the exact rule, I refused to go through their little steps. And honestly, I was perfectly content on leaving the account the way it was. And obviously, if you can see by the date, on my computer that, yeah, I haven't really been too rushed messing with this, as in, at all. But up until recently, last week, I noticed some people actually trying to get in touch with me on Twitter, and so I am considering going through the steps only just so they don't feel like I blew them off. But I am going to go over the rules a little bit here because I don't really, I did read over all of this and I really don't feel like anything that I said qualifies regarding this tweet. For example, violence. You may not threaten violence against an individual or a group of people. We also prohibit the glorification of violence. Okay, well, I didn't promote violence. So that doesn't. Terrorism and violent extremism. You may not threaten or promote terrorism or violent extremism. Okay. Didn't do that either. That one don't qualify. Child sexual exploitation. We have zero tolerance for child exploitation on Twitter. Well, that damn sure don't qualify. We're talking about a 54-year-old woman. However, I do want to sit here and elaborate on this particular rule because Twitter don't even follow this rule. I've seen this rule broken off more times than I can count. For example, let's go to the learn more about this particular policy. You know, um, Scroll down here. What is not a violation of this policy? Discussions related to child sexual exploitation are permitted, provided they don't normalize, promote, or glorify child sex child sexual exploitation in any way. Hmm. So when people are having discussions about changing a child's gender, i.e., sex, at a young age, that's not normalizing, promoting, or glorifying it in any way. You're kidding me, right? Huh. That's a new one on me. Because if it's not, and you wouldn't call it child sexual exploitation, then what the heck would you call it? I mean, because you guys can paint it any picture you want to, but that is what it is. You're exploiting that child. You are talking about changing their sex. You're normalizing it. You're promoting it. You're glorifying it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that rule gets broken on a daily damn basis. Now this one here, down on the bottom. Depictions of nude minors in a non-sexualized context or setting may be permitted in limited numbers of scenarios, e.g., artworks by intentional, no, not intentionally, internationally renowned artists that feature minors, news media reportage, media created and shared for scientific or educational purposes. Seriously? I can't be the only one seeing this, right? That why that rule being accepted would be a freaking problem. As many predators that are on the internet, y'all really gonna tell me it's a good idea to allow any type? I mean, you shouldn't be uploading any nude photos of any child for any reason. Artwork my ass. I don't care. There's no reason that should even be on there. So that would really make me question when I read some stuff like this. It really makes me question the mentality that Twitter has. The people running it, their support. It really starts to bring a lot into play. As somebody who is older, and a lot of this is a no-go. Well, all of it's a no-go. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, moving on. Abuse and harassment. You may not engage in the targeted harassment of someone or incite other people to do so. This includes wishing or hoping that someone experiences physical harm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that doesn't qualify. Hateful conduct. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, I'm not sure how to pronounce that word, caste, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious affiliation, age, disability, or serious disease. Hmm, doesn't qualify either. So far, I'm not seeing the rule that I broke. Perpetrators of violence attacks. We will remove any accounts maintained by individual perpetrators of terrorist, violent, extremist, or mass violent attacks. It may also remove tweets disseminating manifestos or other content produced by perpetrators. Still not breaking a rule. Suicide or self-harm. You may not promote or encourage suicide or self-harm. Not doing that either. Sensitive media, including graphic violence and adult content. You may not post media that is excessively gory. I'm pretty sure I see that one broken all the time on Twitter. Or share violent or adult content within live video or in profile header images. Media depicting sexual violence and slash or assault is also not permitted. Well, there is a lot of damn sexual content going around Twitter. I don't know about the violence part, but there's a lot of boobies running around Twitter. Illegal or certain regulated goods or services. You may not use our service for any unlawful purpose or in furtherance of illegal activities. This includes selling, buying, or facilitating transactions in illegal goods or services, as well as certain types of regulated goods or services. Okay, so I've so far not broken a rule. Let's see. Privacy. You may not Private information. You may not publish or post other people's private information, such as home, phone number, and address. I've actually seen famous people break that rule without their express authorization and permission. Actually, I've seen news outlets break that rule too. We also prohibit threatening to expose private information or incentivizing others to do so. Yeah, that rule's been broken the hell off. Non-consensual nudity. You may not post or share intimate photos or videos of someone that were produced or distributed without their consent. We all know that rule's been broken. Somebody has broken that rule on there. I'm not gonna say everybody, but there's a lot of people that's done foul crap like that on Twitter. I mean, Twitter's known for its toxicity. So, I mean, a lot of these rules are not even followed. Platform manipulation and spam. You may not use Twitter services in a manner intended to artificially amplify or suppress information or engage in behavior that manipulates or disrupts people's experience on Twitter. Yeah, okay. We know that one's been broken. Civic integrity. You may not use Twitter services for the purpose of manipulating or interfering in elections or other civic process. Okay, we already know this one's been broken. This includes posting or sharing content that may suppress participation or mislead people about when, where, or how to participate in a civic process. Okay. Let's just address the elephant in the room. Twitter is such a political poop show. There's no way this rule here was enforced. Misleading and deceptive identities. You may not impersonate individuals, groups, or organizations to mislead, confuse, or deceive others, nor use a fake identity in a manner that disrupts the experience of others on Twitter. Mm, yeah, okay. We all know about the fake accounts, so I'm not even going there. Synthetic and manipulated media. You may not deceptively share synthetic or manipulated media that are likely to cause harm. In addition, we may label tweets containing synthetic and manipulated media to help people understand their authenticity and to provide additional context. Yeah, whatever. Copyright and trademark. You may not violate others' intellectual property rights, including copyright and trademark. Learn more about our trademark policy and copyright policy. Yeah, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Enforcement and appeals. I'm not reading that. third-party advertising video content. You may not submit, post, or display video content on or through our services that includes third-party advertising such as pre-roll video ads and sponsorship graphics with or without prior consent. Now, maybe I don't understand that rule, but I mean, every time somebody shows a YouTube video on the damn platform or whatever, they're pretty much third-party advertising. So they're really full of crap when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So as you can see, I have literally broken zero rules. Like none of these rules on this list apply. Uh, let me. There's my tweet. That's a damn shame. This dude gets banned for misgendering, but if I or someone else shares an opinion, it is perfectly acceptable to accuse us of being transphobic and verbally ganged upon. That does happen. It has happened to me. I've even given an opinion as politely as possible, and I've still had people just come out swinging at me. I'm not whining about it. I'm just saying it happens. In the last part of that tweet, Rachel Levine was a dude for 54 years. People get over it. It's not that serious. She was. It's not. Get over it. It's not that serious. Nobody cares. I certainly didn't. Hindsight being 2020, I don't even know why I bothered tweeting that. But then hindsight being 2020, now that I look back after I've had my little break on Twitter, I don't even know why I bothered tweeting half the crap that I tweeted. To be entirely honest. I actually believe you lose brain cells the more time you spend on Twitter. So, considering that, I've been off it for several months, I think I'm doing pretty good. That was my first time in with my little Twitter experience. Uh, yeah, I think I did pretty good, you know. But the other thing that I want to address, because I did mention the other account earlier in the video, I made this account to get in touch with this is actually for my other account, a secondary account, you know, to try and get in touch with Twitter support. And the thing that I got in trouble with on this, I can kind of understand why I would have gotten in trouble, but this is basically what was said. This was a scenario because I hadn't really been posting anything on that account. I really don't want to use that account for much of anything. It was predominantly just to try to get in touch with support to elicit an answer to my question of the exact rule that I broke. Again, I broke no rules. So that in itself is proof of censorship. But this next thing, everybody knows about obviously the Will Smith slapping Chris Rock incident. Now, honestly, I think that was blown up way out of proportion. I'm not saying Will should have done what he did. I'm not saying that at all. Um, Will definitely could have handled it better. Um, should he have stuck up for his wife? Yes, absolutely he should have. Should he have walked on stage and slapped the hell out of Chris Rock? Let's be real. We've all wanted to slap Chris at some point in time or another. I'm just going to put it out there. But Chris did not deserve to be humiliated in front of the entire world. I don't think anybody does. I mean, there's things that's come out of Chris's mouth that I particularly didn't care for. Uh, not regarding that, but I mean regarding other stuff. I'm not gonna get into that though. That's not really important. Point being is that Will could have handled it better. He could have waited till after the Oscars, pulled Chris to the side, chewed his ass, did whatever, you know. They could have had that could have been handled in private. That's how that should have been handled. But be it as it may, that's not how it went down. You know, it was handled the way it was handled. And Jaden Smith stuck up for his dad, as any kid would. And so, yeah, probably not the brightest thing to do, but you know, he sent that little tweet on Twitter, you know, that's how we do it, or whatever the hell it was he said. But what irked me about that was that he turned around after he made that tweet. Everybody and their brother and sister wanted to come out of the woodwork and simply just attack this kid. And I don't feel just because you're famous that entitles the rest of the world to basically treat you like you're a punching bag. So I essentially tweeted this, and I'll read it. To every one of you so-called grown folks out here talking bleep to this kid about his parents and family, y'all need to be slapped the way Will slapped Chris. Y'all some punks. With the little eye rolling emoji. And I meant that. From the bottom of my damn heart, I meant that. Anytime a group of people think it's alright to gang up on one individual, in my day that made you a punk. I ain't got no respect for punks or keyboard warriors or anything else. Which is why I seldom don't make it a general habit of hanging out on social media. I think my time on Twitter was the most I had ever spent hanging out on social media. And it has been an experience and reminded me why I don't hang out on social media. But the amount of disrespect that people have for each other is on a level in this country that I have never seen it ever before. Even back when there was actual real racism in this country. Not this fake racism that everybody whines about. I'm talking actual real racism in this country. People did not whine on this level. Our country has become weak. It's weak. We are a joke to the rest of the world. The rest of the world, we are days of our lives to the rest of our world. We are freaking soap opera. That's what we are. We're freaking soap opera. We are a joke. And that might make some of you mad that I'm saying that about our so-called great nation. But as somebody who's come from a generational military family, where if we served, we either served or we were married to somebody who served. One or the other. We are a generational military family. And are a lot of people, and I'm not going to speak for everybody else in the family, but I will say that I believe, especially a lot of the old timers, if a lot of them were still alive, because you know a lot of them fought and died, and the ones that are no longer with us, if they were still alive to see what everybody did with their freedom, that they died for, that they fought so hard for, I hate to say it, but I don't think they'd be motivated to fight too hard for y'all's freedom the way they fought for it back then. I don't. I think they would be ashamed of how this country dishonors itself, the disrespect that is shown in this country, the hatefulness that everybody here has towards each other. Everybody wants to be right. Nobody wants to compromise. Nobody wants to meet the middle ground. You know, kids are getting, attacked. Kids are attacking elders. You know, you got little kids or whatever worried about losing their future because they're getting sexual charges thrown on them over misgendering. You got fourth graders. They're trying to make fourth graders have co-op sex ed classes. I'm like, that is some sick ass shit. And how this is even on the discussion table, how this could even be a debate is mind-boggling. The fact that people want to change a child's gender at such a young age. Yeah, I think I can safely say they would not have fought and died for y'all to have the freedom to do this BS. They would not have. I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't. Not for this. Not for this. You know. I can't remember the last time that we've honestly had a good president. I can't remember. Been a long time. Long time. It's always one extreme or the other. You know. We had Trump in office, we was an extreme on one side. We got Biden in office, we an extreme on the other side. You know, it's been a long time since we had a fair, impartial president that had all the parties' needs and concern, that was about the people. People forgot equality actually does mean equality, not these multicultural centers or these so-called safe spaces. Hey, y'all are bringing back segregation, and y'all actually think that's a good damn idea. And you can paint any color you want to, but it's segregation. Anyway, this is the proof of Twitter censorship. This was my experience on Twitter. So, I apologize if I sound like the dude on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, 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 Bueller. Yeah, sorry about that. Kind of tired. It's early in the morning. Been up all night working. But I wanted to get this video done because at some point I'll probably straighten out these Twitter accounts. I will give one message to Twitter though, personally. Um, since y'all couldn't answer any of my questions, obviously, I didn't break any of your rules. But I also had put in a request. I think this is noteworthy. I asked them to change this to where it sent the thing to my email. They ignored me. They didn't. They sent me the same textbook thing, on my account that they did on the other account. That's how I know it's automated. And when I tried to contact somebody to switch this to my email, I basically got ignored. I actually tried contacting Twitter several times. So, Twitter, I told you already, you are not allowed to have my phone number. You may not have my phone number. So if I decide to fix this account, you will get one of those bootleg numbers you can set up for free. You'll get one of those. That'll be about as much as you'll be allowed to have. You may not have any private or personal information on me, any of whatever your little so-called force requirements you think you're going to throw my way. I will counter it. You will not have my private information. You are not allowed. I told you you weren't, and I meant it. So, it is what it is. But once I straighten it up, like I said, I'll probably be off the platform anyway. I'll only probably straighten it out just to contact the people who actually tried contacting me, just so I'm not a rude jerk. And yeah, so anybody that might have got their feelings hurt about my opinions, sorry but not sorry. We're gonna have to respectfully agree to disagree, and that's okay. You know, if you're one of those people that you are into the gender as a social construct and CRT and all that other stuff, hey, I respect that you believe it. All I ask in return is that you respect that I believe what I believe. I'm not a political guy. I don't really care about politics. And this will probably be one of the few videos, if any, or last video maybe, if any at all, that I'll do on stuff like this. And I say that because I opted out on starting my channel off on two different videos. That drama regarding Tabletop Simulator when gender politics were in that game, or critical race theory, got the Claudette mask removed from Dead by Daylight. So I probably won't. I opted out of doing videos on both of those topics because I just I really don't want this kind of crap on my channel. But I'm making an exception in regards to Twitter because of this being such a big issue with the censorship. The censorship is definitely there. Um, I've seen it happen to other people. This is the experience that I personally had. So I'm basically just sharing it. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, sorry the video was not exciting. Thank you if you actually made it to the end of the damn video. Thank you for actually bothering to listen. Everybody stay safe. Stay blessed. Y'all have a good one. And remember, social distance, wear your mask, all that fun stuff or whatever, and take your cootie shot. Alright, I'm out. Peace, love, and hair grease.